Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita class. We are finally starting chapter 10 today. The Vibhuti Yoga, or opulence of the Absolute. So, let us start with the Mangalacharan prayers to receive the blessings of all the previous acharyas, Lord Sri Krishna and all his devotees. So, I will share the screen and we will start. I hope you can see.
Yeah.
Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitanscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. I just want to make a couple of quick notes here. Okay, so we will start with chapter 10, and as usual, I request you all to please pay very careful attention. Chapter 10, just to give a quick sort of a understanding of where we are in the core section of Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 7, 8, 9, Lord Krishna was going very, very deeply into the Bhakti Yoga aspect. Chapter 10 is sort of is divided into two sections. The first section is verse numbers 1 to 11.
Sir, your board is not visible.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Thanks for pointing out. So chapter 10 has two sections, 1 to 11, and then 12 to 42. So I will talk later. I don't want to spend time talking about the second section. It is a little sort of a very sort of a distinct section, which is, as you can see, major part of the 10th chapter, where Lord Krishna is describing his vibhutis or opulences in the material world. We will come to that when we reach there. So that is why this is called as opulences of the absolute. But there is the beginning section is basically the conclusion of Bhakti Yoga, which Lord Krishna has started This whole Bhakti Yoga started since chapter 7. So in chapter 10, Lord Krishna is giving the conclusion. So this word conclusion is extremely important. And this chapter, or this section 1 to 11, is divided further into two parts, A and B. 1 to, you can say, 6 or 7. 1 to 7 is, as every book has a preface or a foreword or whatever, you can think of it like a introduction to the conclusion. Lord Krishna is telling what he is going to conclude with. And the second part, 8 to 11, is the real conclusion of Bhakti Yoga. And this 8 to 11, 10.8, so chapter 10, verses 8 to 11, are extremely important. These are known as the chaturshloka. Chaturshloka of Bhagavad Gita, which means that the entire summary of Bhagavad Gita, the whole essence or the summary of the Bhakti Yoga, is available in these 4 verses. So if you do not have, one can say, in other words, like at the end of a book or at the end of a technical paper, there is a conclusion paragraph, which basically concludes all the key findings, the key summary, whatever, the essence of the whole paper. Similarly, the chaturshloka does for the Bhakti Yoga section of Bhagavad Gita. So we will go into all of this. And then the next section begins from verse number 12 onwards and goes till 42, which we will cover when we reach there. So we are going to start with the preface or the introduction to the conclusion. Those are the first 7 verses. So that's what we are going to start with. Today we might end the class a little early because we have to leave right after the class to go to the airport. And what else? I have some quick announcements before that. If you have any questions, please raise your hand or put it in the chat so I know how to pace myself with the material. My goal is at least to cover 1 to 7 or probably 1 to 8. I want to start the chaturshloka. This is the starting verse of chaturshloka. So we'll see how far we get. If we get to 9 and 10, great. Otherwise, at least till 8, I want to go. Please pay very careful attention. This is the conclusion of Bhakti Yoga, like I mentioned earlier. And if possible, turn on your camera, have the book with you, follow along as we go. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. So we are starting with the introduction to the conclusion. So that is 10.1. Okay. So I will read the verses. We will start going through them as usual. 10.1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhuya eva Mahabaho Shruну me paramam vachaha yatte aham priyamanaya Vakshami hitakamyaya. So what's going on here? Lord Krishna continues to speak. So he has concluded speaking the Bhakti Yoga, essence of Bhakti Yoga in the 9th chapter, the deepest aspects of Bhakti Yoga, how the Lord protects his devotees, how Bhakti Yoga can be done by anyone. There is no discrimination, no gender bias, no race, no caste, no nothing. And very simple Bhakti Yoga can be performed. All that Lord Krishna has described at the end of 9th chapter. And he has also described how Krishna cannot be understood in the beginning of the 9th chapter. There was that whole Achintya Bheda Bheda aspect, 9.4 to 9.6. Lord Krishna had explained how he is inside and outside and how it is so difficult to understand him. So, Lord Krishna is going to summarize everything that has been said, and he's setting up the platform for the chaturshloka. So Lord Krishna says, Bhuya eva mahabaho. Bhuya means again. So once again, so this is a conclusion or a summary. It's not something new that Lord Krishna is saying. Bhuya eva mahabaho. So again, I am telling you, my dear Mahabaho means with strong arms, which is Arjuna. So my dear Arjuna, please listen. Shrinu me paramam vachaha. Shrinu means hear from me. Paramam vachaha, my topmost instructions, which he has already given in the 9th chapter. And that's why the word again is there. So it is a summary, or it is a repetition, you can say. Repetition in a summary form. Shrinu me paramam vachaha. And why he is giving it? He is giving it for two reasons. One is which yat te aham priyamanaya. Priyamanaya means I am very, you are my priya, you are my manaya. I consider you very priya. I consider you very dear to me. So I really want to make sure you understand it, and the main point is all your doubts are cleared. So when you love somebody and you're trying to explain them something complex, you want to make sure that their doubts are all cleared. They understand it clearly. They don't have any, doubts. They don't have any alternative understanding, etc. And that is why he says, Vakshami, I'm going to say this, Hita Kamyaya, for your Hita. Hita Kamya. Kamya means something that you want or something that you desire. Hita Kamyaya means for your benefit, for your Hita. So that because you desire your benefit, for your benefit of understanding, I am going to explain this or summarize this with clearing any doubts that may be remaining. So, through Arjuna, Lord is talking to all of us, of course, and as he is talking to all of us, he wants to clear all our doubts. And you will see through the commentaries of Acharyas how every verse leading up to the 10.8, which is the beginning of chaturshloki, chaturshloka, in each verse, a number of specific doubts will be cleared by Lord Krishna without even Arjuna asking for them, because the Lord knows the heart of Arjuna and all the devotees. So we will see a very beautiful set of clarifications that Lord Krishna will provide verse by verse by verse by verse. Each verse is very, very important and is clarifying a very specific kind of doubt that one may have. So Hita Kamyaya is referring to that, for a better understanding, for the clarification of all our doubts. So, Vakshami Hitakamyaya. So, Srila Prabhupada translates this as the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Why Srila Prabhupada is saying better? Because certain doubts are going to get cleared. So whatever doubts have been lingering in the understanding so far, they will be cleared. So next verse. So what is the first doubt? So the first doubt, so let's read this verse. Okay. So Lord Krishna, so let me explain you the doubt that is going to get cleared in 10.2. 10.2, the main aspect, Lord Krishna has described bhakti in a very simple and easy way in chapter 9, or the process of bhakti has been described in a very simple and easy way. However, understanding that this, even though it on the reading of the 9th chapter at a superficial level, it appears easy, but many people are not able to follow it. They don't follow it. As soon as they keep the Bhagavad Gita, back to sense gratification, back to the material world, back to enjoyment. So why is it that people are not able to fully dedicate themselves to the instructions of Lord Krishna after reading 9th chapter? That is because the conviction, the deep devotion to Lord Krishna does not immediately arise. And that is what makes Bhagavan Krishna and the process to reach him, or the process to develop love for him, so hard to understand. It's very hard for many people to understand how is it possible that this blue boy who is just playing around in the forest with cows and his friends and all that, he's the Supreme Lord and he can be reached so easily. Really, he is Bhagavan? Even Indra had that doubt and Brahma had that doubt. When we read in the Srimad Bhagavatam about the Brahma Vimohan Leela or the Govardhan Leela, when Indra had the doubt and he desired to kill all the Vrajavasis with his torrential rain, the hurricane that occurred. So the point of 10.2 is what Lord Krishna is saying is that no one, or almost no one, can understand me. Even though the previous chapters Lord Krishna has explained, one can read the chapters, and that is why the 9th chapter is called confidential. It is Rajguhyam. It is very confidential. It's very hard to understand. So no one, or it's very, very, very hard to understand me, or it is not at all easy to understand Krishna. That's what Lord Krishna is saying. And Lord Krishna gives the example of the demigods. Demigods means the devatas and the sages, the maharishis. Lord Krishna says that even they cannot understand me. Why do these two examples are given? Because as you can see, the demigods, or those who reside on the higher planets in the Svargaloka, etc., they have reached there by their karma yoga, by doing pious activities. As it has been said in Bhagavad Gita previously, you all know that you attain the higher planets. So by performance of karma yoga, very deep karma yoga, you attain the position of demigods. Still, it is not possible to understand Krishna in essence. The true essence of Krishna is not possible to understand by the demigods who have performed very, very intense karma yoga, or the sages who have performed jnana yoga or dhyana yoga. So the demigods lived in the planets, the Svargaloka planets, and the sages live in the further upper planets, Maharloka, Tapaloka, and so on, Janaloka. So that is where these sages live. And even they cannot understand Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna, understanding the essence of Lord Krishna through these processes, by these kind of people, the demigods and the sages, does not occur. That is the essence of 10.2. All right, so let us read 10.2. Na me viduhu suraganah prabhavam na maharshayah aham adir hi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. So what is Lord Krishna saying? Na me viduhu suraganah. Suraganah means the devatas, the demigods. Na me viduhu. Viduhu means to know, vid, like Veda. Vedas are that which is to be known, that they are known as Vedas. So vidu, vid is the root word for knowing or knowledge. So na me viduhu suraganah. The suraganah, the devatas, the demigods, na me viduhu. Me means me. Lord Krishna is saying me. Na, they cannot know me, or they do not know me. They do not understand me. Or what do they do not understand? Prabhavam. Prabhavam means my opulences, my mystic leelas, how I can lift the Govardhan hill, how I am a small boy playing around with cows. And still, when the time comes to save my devotees, I can lift the Govardhan hill and save all my devotees. Or when Brahmaji comes and steals the cows and the cowherd, the calves and the cowherd boys, I can manifest myself into thousands and thousands of cowherd boys and calves, and even trick Brahmaji. That Brahmaji who gave the powers to Hiranyakashipu, who could rule the entire universe with his powers given by Brahmaji. Imagine that. He was able to rule the entire universe with those powers. That Brahmaji I can trick. How is it possible? So even they cannot understand these points. And also Acharyas explain, Prabhavam means the mystic nature of my birth. They think I am born from the womb of Devaki. Now, it is true that the womb of Devaki, she was pregnant. That is true. But the Lord, if you see the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapters 1 to 3, you will see the appearance of Lord Krishna, how he appears the mind of Vasudeva. And from there, he transfers into the heart and then the womb of Devaki. And then he does not take birth like you and I and children take birth. He just appeared in front of Devaki when the time came. So he did not have like a human, we have read in Bhagavad Gita 9.11, how does 9.11 begin? Manushim, what is that? Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. So those who think I am a human, manushim tanum ashritam, we have covered this, they are mudhas, they are avajananti, they don't know anything. So Lord Krishna is saying that is the prabhavam which people get confused about. They think I am just like a human being. And they don't know my leelas, they don't know my mysteries, they don't know who I am in essence. And na maharshayaha, even the sages who do not understand this. And who is he? What is the aspect they don't understand? Aham adir hi devanam. That I am the origin. Aham adi. Adi means the origin. Bhagavan, he will say in the next verse, is anadi. Anadi means without origin, originless or beginningless. Bhagavan has no beginning. He is eternal. He is anadi. But devatas are not anadi. They are adi. And who is the source of the devatas? Aham. Aham adir hi devanam. I am the source of the devas. That means he is the father of the devas. So who is greater, the father or the child? Of course, the father is greater. So Lord Krishna is saying that the devatas have come from me. And therefore they know some part of me, but they cannot know me fully. The cause and the effect. We have discussed this also many times, cause and effect. Sorry. Cause and effect. So the devatas are the effect and Krishna is the cause. And from the effect, even in science, this is true. It is not possible to completely understand the cause. You can speculate about the cause. All scientists will say that. By looking at the effects, you can only have an idea about the cause. You cannot know the real cause. To know the real cause, you have to go to the cause of the cause, which they call as the root cause. I want to root cause the problem. They say that, right? What is the root cause of any problem? So everything, just going into a little bit of a philosophical discussion, there is some event A and event B. Event A and event B. Event A is the cause of event B. So if you want to study why event B happened, you must really find the details of event A, the cause. The cause can give the full understanding of the effect. Then you may ask, what caused event A? So maybe there is some event X that caused event A. So by studying event X, you can understand how event A happened, and then you can understand how event B happened. So like this, you can be in a sort of a chain of events, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. You can study, right? That is the scientific process. And that is exactly what Lord Krishna is referring to here, that I am the cause of the devatas. So the devatas don't know me fully by this logic that we just described. By studying the effect, you cannot fully know the cause.
So if we keep on going back like this, we will ultimately reach Krishna.
Yes, we will come to that. Krishna is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam. Lord Brahma says this. And this is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita as well. Sarva Karana Karanam. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. That is the first verse of Brahma Samhita. So yes, he is the cause of all causes. We'll come to that. So here what Lord Krishna is saying, Aham Adir Hi Devanam. I am the cause of the Devatas. Maharshinam cha Sarvashaha. And the Maharshis and everyone in all respects. So Lord Krishna is saying, ultimately, I am the cause for the Maharshis, for the Devatas in all respects. And therefore, they do not know me fully. They know some part. It's not that they are completely clueless. Even we know a little bit about Krishna by hearing Bhagavad Gita. We also know. We cannot say that we are clueless completely. But we do not know fully. Clear? So that is 10.2. So what is 10.2? That it is not possible to understand Krishna completely. It is very, very, very difficult. Even the Devatas and the Maharshis who are living on all these higher planets cannot understand me. And later on, Lord Krishna will say how to understand Krishna. So that will come later. And the answer by now, for those who have been in Bhagavad Gita class, the answer is obvious. Through Bhakti Yoga, one can understand Krishna, but that will come later. Okay, now 10.3. So the translation given by by Srila Prabhupada in 10.2 is, neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. Like we said, how Krishna came on this planet, appeared, or his opulences. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and planets. Okay. So the link to the next verse is, okay, Arjuna got this. He's a very intelligent student. He is saying that the demigods are here and sages. And he is saying that Krishna is saying, I am the cause of the demigods and sages. So the doubt Arjuna has, for our benefit, he's asking, who is the source of, what is the cause of Krishna? You are saying you are the cause or the source of the demigods and sages. Fine. Can you please tell me who is your source? That is the question that Lord Krishna will answer, or that is the doubt that Lord Krishna will answer in 10.3. So 10.3 is a very, very important verse. And this is one of the most direct verses by Lord Krishna. Another one will be 10.8 as well. But 10.3 also is one of the most direct verses by Lord Krishna that establishes, where he establishes his supreme nature, that he is the supreme Lord. He is not a devata, he is not a demigod, he is not a powerful person. He is the supreme Lord, the Param Bhagavan. At many other places, Arjuna says, you are the Supreme Lord, or the rishis say that you are the Supreme Lord. But here, Lord Krishna is saying from his own mouth. That is the main point to note. So the answer to the question, so remember, the question was here that the demigod's source is Krishna. The question is, who is Krishna's source? And the answer that Lord Krishna gives is that I am my own source. Or he says that there is no source of me. I have no source. So you can say that what Lord Krishna basically is saying, there is this link does not exist. Krishna is his own source. Let me put that in different color. Krishna is his own source. That is where the chain ends. So that is what is mentioned in 10.3. Yo mam ajam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asammodha cha martyeshu sarva papaihi pramuchayate. So 2 points are being covered in this verse. The first point is that Lord Krishna is saying that I am the Supreme Lord, which means that I have no source. So yo mam ajam anadim cha. So yo means those who know me, mam, as ajam. Ajam means unborn, no janma. There has been no janma, which means there is no birth for the Lord. And anadim. So if you see in the previous verse, aham adir hi devanam. Adi word is there. I am the adi. I am the source of the devatas. And here he is calling himself anadim. So yo mam ajam, who has no janma, or he is unborn, and anadim, no origin or no source. Cha veti loka maheshwaram, and who knows me. Veti means to know again. Veda, veta, vidu, they're all having the same root. So veti loka maheshwaram. I am the Maheshwara, the Lord of all the lokas, of all the everything that exists, of all the planets, Srila Prabhupada says. So I am the Supreme Lord, and I have no source, unborn, and this is ajam and anadim, beginningless. That's what he is saying. Yo mam ajam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asammudha sa martyeshu sarva papaihi pramuchyate. Another concept is being introduced, that among the martyeshu means those who are subject to death, mrityu. We are all the living entities in the material world are subject to death. Asammudha cha, they rise above. Asammudha means they become undiluted, or they become free from death. They rise above those that can die. So asammudha sa martyeshu, how? Sarva papaihi pramuchyate. By their entire, now papa, I will explain this, but all their pap, the literal translation is sinful or sins. Pramuchyate means being freed from. So being freed from all their sins or all their sinful reactions, they rise above this entanglement of birth and death, which means they get liberated, right? So papa word does not only mean sinful, but it means karmic baggage. Even the pious, as you all have studied so far in Bhagavad Gita for last so many months, pious reactions are also a baggage. Why? Because they keep you bound in this material world. That is why it is a baggage. And in that sense, it is a curse. Even if you do good karma, you get good reaction, which you have to come and enjoy. In that sense, you have to do bhoga. You have to go through the process of enjoyment. And that itself is like a curse. It keeps you bound to the material world. So in that sense, that is also a sin. It is also a baggage to be carried. A good kind of baggage, but a baggage is a baggage. So that is the meaning of sarva papaihi pramuchyate. The Lord is the giver of liberation. He takes away all the karmic baggage, the pious as well as the sinful baggage. And then one rises above the platform of death, which means he gets liberation, he gets asammudaha. So that is the understanding of this verse. So there are 2 points. One is the supremacy or the essence about the Lord. And the second point is one who knows this in essence becomes liberated. Now, knows doesn't mean just a superficial knowing. Now, I just told you in the last 2 minutes. So arguably, you know, right? You can say, I know. Yes, I heard it from Prabhuji in the class. So now I know. That is not the know that we are talking about. This know is really when you have the faith or the full conviction, the belief. That is the real meaning of know. Veti means to have the strongest conviction that yes, this is true. If it comes to it, you will be able to bet your life on it. So that is, once you know that, once you have that faith in the nature of Bhagavan, then one is called as liberated. So that is the answer to the previous question, that who is the source of Krishna? Krishna is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He says in 5.29. What is 5.29? The last verse of 5th chapter. All these are becoming getting old. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. So, suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim rachati. So, bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Same thing Lord Krishna is saying here, that Veti loka maheshwaram, that I am the supreme Lord of all that exists. Okay. So that is the first point. And the second point is, what happens when one clearly knows this or understands this very, very clearly. Okay. So then 10.4. So what is the link from 10.3 to 10.4? So let me see what else I have to say here. So yeah, Srila Prabhupada's translation is, he who knows me as the unborn, Ajam, and as the beginningless, Anadim, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, Veti Loka Maheshwaram, he only among undiluted among men, Asammudha just Martyeshu, men means all the living entities that are subject to death, is freed from all sins. Sarva papaihi pramuchyate. And when one is freed from all sins or karmic baggage, one gets liberated. So Krishna is the giver of liberation. Okay, 10.4 and 5 are together. So the question that one can ask is that, okay, I cannot know you. You are saying this. Lord Krishna is saying, you cannot know me. Even the demigods, the sages, maharishis, devotees, they cannot know me. And I am unborn. I am, but by very detailed study of using all the powers that you have given me, can I not know you? By a very long and elaborate study, can I not know you? Or by very strong tapa, by very strong practice of austerities, and by all these practices, basically by given all the powers, by all the powers given by Krishna to living entities, Is it still not possible to know Krishna? That is the question. And what are the powers? The first line itself lists down some very strong powers. Buddhir jnanam asammoha. That through buddhi, through my intelligence, jnana, asammoha, and I using these two, my intelligence and the gyan is out there. Using the gyan, or given the gyan and assimilating it, understanding it with my buddhi, I remove all doubts. Asammoha. Then can I know you? Why is it not possible to know Krishna through all the buddhi, gyan, and so many other Lord Arjuna lists, or in this Lord Krishna lists 20 qualities. Now, not really qualities, but these are, you can call it as powers or facilities, or you can call it faculties. Sorry, of living entities. And by these powers, by these faculties, by these facilities that you have given me, can I still not know you? And Lord Krishna says, no, you still cannot know me. And he gives the reason in the last two lines. So in 10.4, and as you all know, every verse I divide into 4 quartlets as per the meter A, B, C, D I call. So 10.4 A, B, C, D, and 10.5 A and B. These 20 faculties or powers or qualities of living entities are listed. And then in 10.5 C and D, Lord Krishna says why these are not enough to understand Krishna. So let us quickly read. I'm not going to go into the detail of all these 20 faculties. Srila Prabhupada, in his purport in Bhagavad Gita as it is, please read the purport, very beautiful, very long purport where he gives details, a small paragraph about each of those 20 qualities. Very nicely Srila Prabhupada has given. And similar purport Srila Prabhupada has given in chapter 13 and 16. We will go into detail at that time. Right now, I don't want to defocus from the main thread of the discussion of how hard it is to know Krishna in essence. That's what we are discussing, that it is very hard to know Krishna in essence, in reality, with that strong conviction and faith. So let us see what are these 20 qualities. We'll quickly read the Sanskrit and the English. And then we will come to this part, why it is not possible. Buddhir jnanam asammoha, kshama satyam damah shamah, sukham dukkham bhavo abhavo, bhayam cha abhayam eva cha. That is first verse. Ahimsa samata tushtis, tapo danam yasho ayashaha. So this is the first line, or A and B of the next verse. So these are the 20 qualities. So what are the 20 qualities? Intelligence, buddhi, jnanam, knowledge, asammoha. Using these two, one is able to free all doubts, get rid of all his doubts, right? That's what you do. You read a book with your intelligence, and then you know the topic, then you can answer questions and pass the test, right? So buddhir jnanam asammoha, kshama satyam damah shamah. So that is kshama, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, sukham, dukkham, bhavo, abhavo, happiness and distress. Bhavo and abhavo means birth and death, or rather the power. We are discussing the powers given by Lord Krishna, the power of creation and the power of destruction. So acharyas, that's what the meaning of bhavo and abhavo is. bhayam cha abhayam eva cha, and the associated fear of being destroyed, and the abhayam of the destroyer. So that is the power, or that's the quality. Ahimsa samata tushti tapo danam yasho ayashaha. So non-violence, equilibrium, satisfaction, penance, charity, fame, and infamy. So these are the 20 qualities. Now, is it possible to understand Krishna by the power of these qualities? Answer is no, not possible. Why? Why? Because these qualities also come from Krishna. Just like the previous answer, Krishna is the source or is the cause, and these qualities or these powers are the effect. And these qualities Acharyas described are altogether known as the gunas, the material modes: sattva guna, rajoguna, rajaguna, and tamoguna. We have discussed this also in the previous lectures. So these qualities are basically the detailed manifestations of the gunas. And where do the gunas come from? From Krishna. So again, these are the effect. And using this, also you cannot know Krishna fully. That is what he says in the last two lines. Bhavanti bhava bhutanam mattah eva prithak vidhaha. That all these various bhavas, all these prithak vidha means all these various, prithak means various bhava, all these natures of the living entities, bhutanam, come bhavanti mat eva, from me only. So all these various, I will use the Sanskrit words to say an English kind of a sentence, how we would say in English. All these natures of living entities come from me, right? So prithak bhava, all these various bhavas of living entities, bhutanam, come from bhavanti mat eva. So that's how the Sanskrit is organized, the language. Bhavanti bhava bhutanam mat evam prithak vidha. So since all these qualities also come from Krishna, therefore they are not sufficient to understand Krishna. Like we said, the effect is not sufficient to understand the cause. Are you following? Am I clear? At least those who have turned on the video, can you nod your head?
Yes.
Right? So Krishna is the source of the, just to summarize, demigods, maharishis, and the natures or the powers of all living entities. Therefore, using these or these cannot understand Krishna. Okay. And the other point Lord Krishna has made so far, that he is his own cause. Okay. And Krishna is the cause of all these. So on the right hand side, from the right hand side, you cannot fully know the left. And Krishna is his own cause. Krishna has no other cause.
Can we take the analogy that I cannot see I?
Yes, you can say that. A very kind of a Very basic analogy. Yes. But I'm sure many people will come for a counter argument. So that analogy kind of will not last very long. But yes, that you get the
I
point.
can see eye in mirror.
Yeah, there you go. Now you can have a long debate. Okay. All right. So what is the next doubt that is presented in 10.6? So we covered till 10.5. Now 10.6, what is the doubt? So the doubt is that, like I said, Lord Krishna here is the source of all the demigods and the maharishis. Now, there are some great demigods and great maharishis. Who are some of the great demigods? Let me write down. Maybe I will write it in green color to make it different. The Manus. There are 14 Manus. And there are some maharishis like the Sanak Adi Rishis and the Saptarishis. Correct? And we will discuss this in the we will see, or we will, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned this in the purport. So there are these Lord Krishna has said that I am the source of the demigods and the maharishis, for example, these ones. But we have heard that Brahmaji is the source of the demigods and maharishis. That Brahmaji is the source. You are saying you are the source. Can you please clarify this contradiction? Which is correct, that Brahmaji is the source of the demigods and the maharishis. It is given in the Shastras. And you are saying that you are the source. And the next confusion is that to give birth, okay, you need mother and father, isn't it? That is how we see in nature. How is it possible that you are the only source? There must be some other source. So now you can see how the logic is getting tightened. Lord Krishna is tightening the whole logic. That yes, I am the source, but am I the only source? Or is there a partner? Like father cannot say to the child, I am your source. If the child is smart, he will say, no, you cannot be the source. There has to be a mother. There has to be a partner. Or the mother cannot say to the child, I am the source. There has to be a father. So is there anybody else? So first doubt is, isn't Brahmaji the source? And the second point is there any joint source? Okay. And Lord Krishna says in this verse that Brahmaji, I am the source of Brahmaji. Okay. So it may not be that directly the demigods came from me. They might have come. It's okay. They might have come from Brahmaji, but Brahmaji came from me. And there is no other source. Is there any other source? No. They came, or Brahmaji came from my mind. Came from how? My mind.
Manasputra.
So that is how Brahmaji came. I do not need any other partner. It's not like I am the father and I need mother to give birth to a child. They came from my mind. So these points are being answered in 10.6. Okay. So let us read 10.6. Maharshayah sapta purve chatvaro manavas tatha madbhava manasa jata yesham loka imah prajah. So what is the translation of this. The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages and the Manus, they are all known as the progenitors of mankind. The father, progenitor means father, or the birth giver of mankind, come from me. How they come from me? Born from my mind. And all the living beings populating the various planets, including all the other demigods and maharishis, etc., descend from them. So in that way, the whole material world is populated. Okay. So the focus of 10.6 is that the topmost creator of the universe, which is Brahmaji, came from me or my mind. And from them come these 25 progenitors. How do you spell that? Progenitors. Who are these 25 progenitors Srila Prabhupada has mentioned in the purport? The 14 Manus, the 7 sages, the Saptarishis, and the 4 Sanaka Adi Rishis, what is known as the 4 sages, the 4 Kumaras. They are Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumar. So these are the 4 Kumaras, and they come from Brahmaji as well. The Saptarishis come from Brahmaji, and the 14 Manus come from Brahmaji, and Brahmaji comes from Krishna's mind. And they also come from Brahmaji's mind. Brahmaji also doesn't need a wife. So they come in turn through Brahmaji's mind. So ultimately, they are all coming from Krishna. Okay. So that I just want to go through some portion of the purport here to clarify what Srila Prabhupada, or to show you what Srila Prabhupada has written here. This is 10.6.
Sorry, I have one doubt here.
Yes, ma'am.
All these things Lord Krishna is telling by himself without Arjuna asking these doubts?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
And our acharyas can read the mind of Krishna. Okay, so this is our acharyas giving. This is not like a play of Shakespeare, where you have to write every line, what actor A says, actor B says, then A, then B. The way in which the Shastras are written, and to a large extent, this is also true for all the Puranas, that the most important part of the conversation, which is coming basically from Bhagavan, is being recorded. And of course, there is a sort of a very high level, you can say, mental or a spiritual or telepathic conversation that is occurring between these 2 great personalities, Arjuna and Krishna. Similarly, Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, that the Lord, for example, in this case, is directly answering the questions without a physical action of asking the question, because this shows the sort of the great, the mastery of the master and the mastery of the disciple. And you have been a teacher for your whole life, and you know a good teacher will teach the subject in a way where he answers the students' doubts. The books, the textbooks that I really like, and I can name some of such textbooks. For example, one of my favorite physics textbook is Resnick Halliday. It's a very standard textbook. It's people like, oh, Resnick Halliday, I've heard it. But if you read it line by line, like a Bible or like a Bhagavad Gita, if you read line by line, the beauty I found, when I read one para, some doubts came in my mind. Wait a minute, how about this? The doubt came. Now there is no Resnick or Halliday sitting in front of me. Okay. But as soon as I read the next para, that's the answer to my doubt. Then some other doubt comes. And voila, the next para is the answer to my doubt. That is why these books become the sort of the standard, such famous textbooks. Wouldn't you agree that that's what you would call a very nicely written textbook? So if
Sure.
that can happen for simple material knowledge like physics, what to speak of Bhagavad Gita, where the author is not some Resnick Halliday who is dead and gone and forgotten. The author is Bhagavan himself. Okay. So since we are not such elevated students like Arjuna, Acharyas give the in-between verses the questions. What are the doubts that Lord Krishna is answering? We are not at the level of Arjuna, where after reading one verse, the next subsequent doubt arises. We are so dumb and dull that the doubt itself doesn't arise. Then when we read the next verse, we says, why is Lord Krishna saying? हमको तो समझ में नहीं आया क्यों बोल रहे हैं भगवान. अरे पहले आप अर्जुन जैसे बनोगे तब समझ में आ जाएगा. So we have to rise to the platform of Arjuna, or we have to take help from the commentaries of Acharyas. And when you read the commentaries of Acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sri Baladev Vidya Bhushan, who have written such beautiful commentaries, they give us this understanding because they know our dumbness, that these dumb people cannot understand the in-between materials. Let me provide it to them like a guidebook. First you need textbook, then you need guidebook. Did that answer your question?
Thank you.
Thanks. So where were we? Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada's purport, I just want to show here. 10.6, where is Bhagavad Gita? So that's why we need the Acharya's commentaries. So I'm going to refer here to 10.6 commentary by Srila Prabhupada. So as you can see here, this is the same verse. Maharshaya sapta purve chatvaro manavastatha madbhava manasa jata yesham loka ima praja. And Srila Prabhupada writes that the Lord is giving the genealogical synopsis of the population of the universe. Of the universal population means population of the universe. Brahma is the original creature born out of the energy of the Supreme Lord, who is known as Hiranyagarbha. Okay, so Brahmaji is born from the Supreme Lord. And from Brahma, all the 7 great sages, and then before them other great sages named Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumar, the 4 Kumaras, and the 14 Manus are manifested. All these 25 sages are known as the patriarchs of the living entities all over the universe. So then there is more where Srila Prabhupada is writing more things. Okay, so Brahmaji comes from the Supreme Lord. From Brahmaji comes these 25 forefathers or patriarchs, and from them comes the entire population of the universe. And how they come from Krishna, from the Supreme Lord? Through his mind, so he does not need any partner. So that is what is being clarified in this verse. All right, so yeah, so these questions have been answered. Brahmaji is the source. Yes, Brahmaji is the source, but I am the source of Brahma. And is there any joint source? The answer is no. Brahmaji came from my mind. So that is being answered here. Okay. Maharshaya sapta purve, the 7 great sages, chatvaro manavastatha, and then the 4 other great sages, which is the Sanaka Adi and the Manavastatha. Manava means the Manus. So that makes it a total of 25, 14 Manus, chatvaro, 4 sages, the Sanaka Adi sages, and the Saptarishi, the Maharshaya Sapta. So that is 25. Madbhava Manasa Jata, come from me, born from my mind. And in middle there is Brahmaji, which is not mentioned here, but in the purport, Srila Prabhupada has provided that clarification. Madbhava, from me, born from my mind, Manasa Jata, born from my mind. Yesham loka ima praja, and from them comes the loka praja. All the population of all the world comes from them. All right. So that is what has been described so far. Fine. So 10.7. Now we begin to go into bhakti. So the link to 10.7. Okay, now Arjuna is kind of, he has run out of doubts. Now he is saying that even the demigods don't know you or cannot know you. Demigods and maharishis cannot know you fully, I mean, right? By the powers given, cannot know you. Even Brahmaji cannot know you, because here we are saying that Brahmaji comes from Krishna. So Brahmaji is the effect and Krishna is the cause. So even Brahmaji cannot know you fully. Then even the 25 forefathers or progenitors cannot know you. Now I have run out. Aur kaun bacha? Koi nahi bacha. Nobody is left. So then the question Arjun asks is, then how to know you? That is the $1 million question. How to know you? Okay. And that question will be answered in 10.7. A negative, answer, sort of a negative answer is given, that what cannot be the answer, and 10.8 gives the direct answer. Okay. So let us read 10.7. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mamayo veti tattvataha so avikalpena yogena yujyatena atra sanshayah. The word avikalpena is very important here. We'll focus on that. Okay. The translation is, one who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt. So 10.7. So, etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvataha. So those who know veti, again, the core essence of my vibhutis, the core essence, tattvataha. Mama yo veti tattvataha. Jo mera tattva jante hain. Those who know the core essence of my vibhutis and yoga. My etam vibhutim yogam cha. So those who know this, those who know the essence, what do? They engage so avikalpena yogena. Avikalp, so those who know that essence, or those who are going towards knowing that essence, to know me fully, to complete the understanding of me, what do they engage in? Avikalpena yogena, the yoga which has no other alternative. Vikalpa, what is the meaning of vikalpa? You all know vikalpa?
Yeah, alternative.
Alternative. Avikalpena, that kind of yoga which has no alternative, the one and only yoga. This word avikalpena yogena is very important, because Lord Krishna in many other places, even in the future chapters, after establishing bhakti as the supreme, as the topmost, that has been established through the Bhakti Yoga chapters so far, Lord Krishna continues to use the word yoga. And some commentators who are not understanding the Lord's message, they continue to interpret yoga as jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, etc. But that is now that word yoga takes on only one and specific meaning, which is bhakti yoga. And that is being clarified here. Avikalpena yogena, that yoga which has no other alternative. So please don't, Lord Krishna is saying to those commentators, please don't misinterpret, mistranslate the word yoga. From now on, yoga means bhakti yoga. That is what is to be understood from this. Only a commentary by pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, one can understand this clearly. So avikalpena, that kind of yoga, not any other yoga, that kind of yoga which has no alternative, engaging in that yoga, yujyate, by engagement in that yoga, you can know me, mama yo veti tatvataha. You can complete or you can gain full understanding of me in the essence, in the tattva. All right, are you following? Okay. So, mama yo veti tattvataha. So, avikalpena yogena, they engage in this non-alternative yoga, not dhyana, not karma yoga, not jnana yoga. Through bhakti yoga, that will come next. Yujyate na atra sanshaya, of this there is no doubt. Wherever Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that of this there is no doubt, it is not like he is himself not confident. That's not the point. Oh, yes, that is no, trust me, really trust me. It's like a salesman trying to oversell his product. That's how we perceive it. When somebody says, trust me, then you say, nahi, nahi, dal mein kuch kala hai. Something must be wrong. Why is he saying, really trust me? When Bhagavan says, of this there is no doubt, it is to be taken as a very important statement where Lord Krishna is emphasizing, putting his strong emphasis on that point. Just like wherever he uses the word tasmat, therefore, or na atra sanshayah, he uses this in a very important verse in the 8th chapter. I'll just in this particular verse, which is a very, very important verse, he uses tasmat as well as this. Tasmat sarveshu, this is 8.7. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddhacha mai arpita mano buddhir mam evaishyasi asamshayah. Without doubt, you will come back to me. Again, he says this, another very important verse in 8th chapter. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samad bhavan bhavam yati na asti atra sanshayah. That antakale cha mameva, at your antakal, if you think of me, you will come to me. Of this there is no doubt. So as you can see, these are supremely important verses, 8.5 and 8.7. Would you agree? If you have seriously studied Bhagavad Gita, everybody would agree that these 8.5 and 8.7 are like at the topmost of the verses of Bhagavad Gita. Some of the, like, they would appear in the top 10 verses of Bhagavad Gita. And both places, Lord Krishna is saying, Yati na atra sanshayah or asamshayah. And similarly, in the number 1 verse of Bhagavad Gita, number 1 verse of Bhagavad Gita is which one? Let's see. Who can say? Number 1. And it is not karmanyavadhikaraste. It is not yada yada ahi dharmasya. It is not any of those that you have heard in TV serials.
Ananya chintamo.
That is true, but the topmost verse, according to Lord Krishna, Bhagwan Krishna says, Shrinu me paramam vachaha. That is, sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshyami. That's where the verse ends. Then he says, ma shuchaha, don't worry. Like a salesman says, no, don't worry, sir, take the product. It will work. It's a good product. That's how it sounds. Ma shuchaha, don't worry. But that is not the point. Wherever Lord Krishna puts this emphasis of asamshayaha or ma shuchaha, It means it's a very, very important verse. Lord Krishna is saying, take special note of this verse. Okay. So that is what is happening here in 10.7. That this is Lord Krishna is referring to avikalpena yogena. That yoga which has no vikalpa. All right. So we have covered 10.7. Okay. So what are the main points? Avikalpena yogena. That yoga which has no alternative. One can engage and then solidify his understanding of me. M with a capital M, me with a capital M. So by doing this, now the question is, what is the question? What is this avikalpena yogena? What is this yoga which has no alternative? So what is the answer, my dear friends?
Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti yoga. Very nice.
Prabhuji, airport duty
For me or for you?
for you.
Yeah, that will be at 8:15.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding. Yeah, I tend to get lost. So we are right on time. So we have 25 minutes and perfect timing for doing the 8th verse, then some question answer, and then announcements. So we will be done by 8:15. So answer is Bhakti Yoga. So I wanted to introduce this topic because all these, like I said, 10.1 to 10.7, now you can see, are leading up to chaturshloki. To the 4 essential, the summary verses of Bhakti Yoga. So the first one is 10.8, where Lord Krishna is very clearly mentioning bhakti. So we will go through word by word. So first point, Lord Krishna is saying, I am the Supreme Lord. So like I said earlier, 10.3, he says that it is one of the very important verses where Lord Krishna from his own mouth is saying, I am the Supreme Lord. 10.8, same. So I am the Supreme Lord. And number 2, what he is saying, that my pure devotees in this consciousness, this means this, that I am the Supreme Lord. In this consciousness, do my bhajan with a very, very loving heart. And this is nothing but bhakti. Correct? So let us see the verse. Now the beautiful part is 10.8a and b. Lord Krishna is saying the same thing in 2 different ways, like 2 sides of a coin. Again, just to completely solidify the understanding that he is the Supreme Lord. What does he say? Aham sarvasya prabhavo. So let me recite this verse. It's a beautiful verse. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. So what is Lord Krishna saying? Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Aham sarvasya prabhavo means that I am the origin, prabhava, of sarvasya, everything. So I am the origin of everything. So here the in English grammar, if you see, the focus of the sentence is I. I am something, right? The focus is I. I am the origin or the source of sarvasya, everything. Now the word sarvasya should be taken literally. Sarvasya means literally everything. Some cheater commentators will say, oh, sarvasya means only in this material world or only on earth planet, or they will try to limit the meaning of sarvasya. No, no, no. Krishna is not the source of everything. He is only the source of 50% or 10%, or they will give some domain. They will try to interpret the word sarvasya. We don't interpret Krishna's words that way. If Krishna had to say that, he would have said that. When he says Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, it means Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Why you are trying to put Sarva into some, okay, or smaller? So Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, I am the source of everything. Then he says the converse, Mattaha Sarvam Pravartate. That everything, Sarvam Pravartate, comes from me. Here the focus becomes Sarvam. So he's saying both ways. Kindly mute yourself. There's some traffic noise from an unmuted phone or computer. Yeah. So Lord Krishna is saying everything comes from, I am the source of everything, and everything comes from me. It's a very tight statement both ways. You cannot wiggle out of it. You cannot say this if, but parantu, lekin, kintu. All that doesn't work. Very tight statement Lord Krishna is making, that he is the Supreme Lord. Everything comes from him. He is the cause of everything. So that is 10 point A and 10 point B. The point is, I am the Supreme Lord. That's how it can be said. That is 10 point A and 10 point B. Okay. Then 10.8 C and D. What that is saying is that how do my devotees approach me? What do my devotees do to know me, to come closer to me? To know Krishna, you have to come closer to Krishna. So what do my devotees do, which the demigods don't do, the rishis don't do, through all these other means you cannot do? What do the devotees do? Iti matva. So that is very important. Iti matva, knowing this. Iti means this. Matva means knowing, or with that understanding. All right. So very clear. You have to be very clear. Some people, say, Arey, why do I need to know who is God? I will just do bhajan. Okay, that is also fine. But you must have at least some understanding that he is Bhagavan. आप किसका भजन कर रहे हैं? भगवान का भजन कर रहे हैं. You must at least have that knowledge that who are you singing your prayers or your bhajan for, or whose bhajan are you singing? It is Bhagavan. That at least that minimum understanding should be there. Plus, there can be a lot more understanding. There's so much philosophy in Bhagavad Gita. We have spent almost 1 year, I think, discussing these chapters. So there's so much to discuss. All this knowledge exists. So iti matva, knowing this, which means that in my consciousness, or you can say in Krishna consciousness, that is called Krishna consciousness. In my consciousness, iti matva, what do they do? In my consciousness, they do what? Bhajante mam, my bhajan. They do my bhajan. And in the next verse, you will see that this bhajan is not very complicated, very simple. Bhajan just simply means bhajan. Sit and do bhajan. You don't have to stand on one leg like Hiranyakashipu for 10,000 years, where all the ants and insects ate his body. He was just a skeleton who was left with both your hands up, praying without breathing. Even his breathing stopped. All that you don't have to do. Just simple bhajan. So in my consciousness, they do my bhajan. Iti matva bhajante mam. But there is a mood. There is a bhava. Mood or bhava. What is that bhava? Of utmost love. Buddha, these people, bhava samanvitah, bhava which is full of love. With that bhav, they do my bhajan. Okay? And that is how one can know me. Now, one cannot still know just by doing bhajan. This is going to get clarified as we go through the chaturshloka. Okay? So, you will see here, let us say this is a devotee. And this is Krishna. Oh, sorry. We will just say Krishna with a peacock feather and with a flute in his hand, whatever, right? This is Krishna. So very beautifully you will see that just by doing bhajan, one does not know Krishna. No, that is not the case. What happens is that when devotee does bhajan, the Lord, now this will come in. So this is 10.7, 10.8 and 10.9. What the devotee does, he does bhajan. And 10.9, you will see very simple bhajan. Mad chittah mad gatah prana bodhayantah parasparam. Just keep talking with each other. Now I'm just quickly summarizing the chaturshloka. Bodhayanta parasparam. Keep talking about me with each other. Parasparam. Kathayantascha mam nityam. And they do my katha. Kathayantascha mam. I'm reading 10.9. Mam nityam. All the time they are just doing katha. Instead of doing katha of Bollywood, Hollywood, and this and that, and all these cricket stars and this and that, we do katha of so many politicians. That's all we do. We do during dinner parties and this coffee shop discussions and whatever. We just spend hours and hours and hours discussing nonsense. Instead of that, devotees do kathayantascha. For how long? How long do devotees do kathayantascha mam? Nityam. And what they get out of it, tushyanticha ramanticha, they just become blissful, happy. They're so happy by doing my katha. Then what happens? Now comes the beautiful part, 10.10 and 10.11. What happens then? Tesham satata yuktanam. To them, satata yuktanam, who are always engaged in this way, satata yuktanam, always engaged. Bhajatam priti purvakam. And they are doing my bhajan with so much priti purvakam, with so much love. Now comes the kicker. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Dadami. I give them the buddhi. So they don't have the buddhi. That's a given. We are so dumb. We are so dull. We don't have the buddhi. Bhagavan says, you do my bhajan, I will give you the buddhi. Yena mam upayantite. With that buddhi, you can come to me. So Bhagavan gives buddhi. Special buddhi, special mercy. And that mercy word will come. Anukampartham. That anukampartham is so important in the next verse. Tesham evam anukampartham. So that special mercy I give. So this is not the powers. This is not the powers of 10.4 and 10.5 that was available to all living entities. That is insufficient. Those generic powers available to all living entities, even to the maharishis and demigods, is insufficient. But this special buddhi that Bhagavan gives, Tesham anukampartham, what it does? Tesham anukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha. I destroy the ajnana in their hearts. Nashayasmi atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. And in this way, the darkness in their hearts is destroyed, and the real jnana deep, the deep of jnana, lights up in their heart, which is of the knowledge of Krishna. So that is how you can know Krishna in full. Are you following? Not by your effort or by your own buddhi, You just do very bhajatam priti purvakam, and Bhagwan will give that buddhi through which you can understand Bhagwan fully. अपने आप से कुछ नहीं होगा. By yourself it will not happen. But by the special mercy, tesham evam anukampartham. Read some commentaries by acharyas. They have greatly elaborated on this word, evam anukampartham. That's the kripa of Bhagwan. He gives like a prasad. Take this buddhi.
Like Divya Chakshu.
Divya Chakshu, yes. Okay. So that is the
Prabhuji,
essence.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
One second. Let me round it up. We are almost at the end. So let me see. So I kind of covered the chaturshloki in the sort of very basic summary. Going back to 10.8, I want to see what else is left. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate. That means Bhagwan is everything comes from him. That's the point. He is the Supreme Lord. With that consciousness, iti matva, with this consciousness, the devotees, the buddhas, the devotees, bhajante mam, do my bhajan with lot of bhav and love. Bhava samanvita, with full of bhav, with full of love. Okay, so this is showing the internal mood of a devotee. In my consciousness, they are showing a lot of love. The next verse will show the external actions, which is kathayantas chamam nityam, doing my katha, and with each other, not alone, with each other, parasparam. So getting together, association of devotees is coming up in this verse as well, 10.9, which we will cover next time. So with lot of love, they do my bhajan, knowing that I am the Supreme Lord. All right. That is 10.8. Next time we will continue with 10.9. Yes, sir. What was your question?
Sir, my question was that पहले भजन जरूरी है या पहले बुद्धि होनी जरूरी है? Because in 8वें वाले वर्ष में भगवान ने कहा है कि जो मुझे जानता है इस प्रकार समझकर, तो इस प्रकार समझ जब भी आई जब उसमें बुद्धि होगी तो भजन करेगा. तो पहले भजन जरूरी है, पहले बुद्धि जरूरी है?
Yeah. So I hope everybody understood the question in Hindi that he asked. Is some understanding? Kindly mute yourself. Let me answer. So the question was, is the understanding, now he's used the word buddhi, but I will just say, is the understanding of Krishna come first, or does the bhajan come first? Because you need understanding to do bhajan, but through the doing the bhajan, you get the understanding. So it is like a, chicken or egg, which came first? That's how the question is phrased. Very nice question. And as I said so far, if you were listening, to the whole sort of way in which Lord Krishna has built up this thing, he is saying that there is some understanding. It's not that you have zero understanding, isn't it? There is some understanding, but there is not a full understanding. Using that some understanding, you deepen your knowledge of Krishna gradually. So it is a cyclic process. It's a spiral process. You start with some understanding, and then you keep increasing your understanding through your bhajan. So it is not like you have full understanding or you have some understanding and then you do bhajan and immediately you get full understanding. No, doing bhajan, this whole is a gradual process. And as you are doing that process, your understanding of Krishna becomes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And not only your understanding, but your love and your devotion, your bhakti towards Krishna also becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. It is a gradual process. So the bhajan therefore has to be continued lifelong, and your bhakti and your understanding of Krishna and how merciful and his nature is, how kripalu he is, how loving he is, that will deepen, which will further deepen your bhajan. And when your bhajan deepens, your love for Krishna will deepen, and it is a spiral process till you go back to Krishna. So that is
Prabhuji, this gradual process may complete in one birth or in many births also?
Yeah, that depends on how serious you are. It is possible to
Yes.
do it in one birth. That is what Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas have said. No need to wait for second birth. Kindly go back to Krishna in this birth. That should be the determination. Okay? Even in school, you are supposed to pass the grade in 1 year. But if you fail, then you are put back in the same grade and it takes 2 years. All right? That is the benefit of Manushya Janma. Manushya Janma is given so that one Manushya Janma is enough. Like the school gives 1 year. If you study properly, it is possible to pass the grade in 1 year. That is the recommended time frame. That is why Manushya Janma is given like this. In the Bhagavatam classes, recently we were discussing, kindly come to the Bhagavatam classes that we do on Saturdays. We go through the Srimad Bhagavatam verses where all this is described in more detail, that the Manushya Janma is so precious. And there is a certain time frame, like 1 year is given for one grade. It is not less, it is not even more. It is the right time frame. If you use your human body, now in 1 year, for 9 months, if you have kept wasting time, it becomes hard to cover the whole syllabus in 3 months. Maybe it is still possible, but it is harder. Therefore, you must make the best utilization of whatever time is left. Don't wait till when I'm going to get retired, then I will do. Then you are setting yourself up. Jo ho gaya, so ho gaya. Whatever has happened, don't worry. Is gone, is gone. At least from right now, make the best use till the end of this life. Don't, as they say, don't cry on spilt milk. Make the best use of what you have left. All right?
Prabhuji, problem is that there are many negative forces are also working on us. So many negative forces. We try to do it, but negative forces are their own effect.
Stop.
That pull us down.
Stop. That is like Azharuddin or Ravi Shastri saying, ball is not coming on the bat. Arey Baba, ball does not come on the bat. If you are a good batsman, the bat has to go to the ball. What do you mean negative forces are coming to you? अरे कोई राक्षस बैठे हैं जो आपको पकड़ रहे हैं? You are going and attaching yourself to those forces. The forces are not coming to you. Please get this clear. All right? जिस दिन आपकी समझ में आ जाएगा, उस दिन बहुत बड़े ज्ञान चक्षु खुल जाएंगे. Thank you. I used to feel very angry when Azharuddin or they say, oh, today we lost the match. Ball was not coming on the bat. What do you mean ball was not coming on the bat? The duty of the bowler is to make the ball go to the wicket, not on the bat. He wants to make you out. Why will he want you to hit a 4? It is your job to hit a 4. You are a good batsman. You have to make the bat go to the ball. Why will the ball come on the bat? Ye kya baat hui? So don't blame the bowler. If you are a winner, you have to win. You cannot say the opponent has to be weak so that I can win. The opponent will be strong.
Prabhuji, I have a question that I have posted in chat.
All right. And who is that? Is Krishna, I'll just go through the questions. Is Krishna black or blue in complexion? He's bluish black, it is said. We can have this discussion at some other time. He's bluish black, like the dark monsoon clouds. Okay. Now, black and blue are not two unique colors. There are whole shades in between. The Shastras describe him as the color of the dark monsoon clouds. I will limit myself to that.
Meghvarna.
Can animals also worship Krishna to get out of the cycle of birth and death? If not, how do animals get liberated? So the general theory is animals cannot. So I will quickly explain this concept. The human life is special. Animal life and so many yonis or species are there. 84 lakh, 8,400,000 species of living beings are there, including all the plants and animals. Plant kingdom and animal kingdom, both put together, what we study in biology. Everything has 8,04,400,000 species. The Manushya has about 400,000 species in that. Among those various species of Manushyas, the Manushya Janma is very special. Only in Manushya Janma you can make progress towards spiritual life. Animal life is meant to enjoy the desires that you have had based on your karmic baggage. So whatever enjoyments you had, wanted to do, you can do it in animal life unfettered, without any guilt. I will give a sort of a gross example. For example, many people have desire to have sex. Okay. In a body of a rabbit or a pigeon, you can have sex as many as 50 times a day. Is it possible in human life? It is not possible. First of all, it's not possible physically. Second of all, it is not going to be socially acceptable. In animal life, you can do that if that is the desire you have. And then, of course, a jackal or a fox will come and eat the rabbit. And that because he has the desire of eating meat or whatever, eating all these tamasic foods. So to enjoy that, so, there is certain desires, you enjoy those desires. When it is done, you go and take the next body. Finally, so the question was, how do animals get liberated? They go through this whole karmic baggage, whatever they may have, the pious reactions where they enjoy and the sinful reactions where they suffer. Once all that baggage is almost comes close to zero, one gets the human life. Human life is the opportunity to make spiritual progress. So how do animals get liberated? By coming to human life. That is the importance of human life, which is what you have right now. That is why Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas say, don't waste this opportunity. Okay.
Only 8:15. 8:15.
Yeah, I know it is 8:15. So 2 quick announcements. I don't see any other questions. Anything else? Very urgent questions, burning questions? Okay. If not, I just want to make a couple of quick announcements. As usual, we have our Srimad Bhagavatam classes on Saturday evening, which is Pacific time, which means Sunday morning, Indian time. This is 6 p.m. and this means 6:30 a.m. Tomorrow, we will have the class. Even though I'm traveling, I will do the class from where I am. We are going to start a very nice chapter, the story of King Chitraketu. Very beautiful learnings will be there. This is in 6th Canto, chapters, I think 14 to 14, 15, 16, I think. So we will do this beautiful story of King Chitraketu. Please try to take advantage of the opportunity to hear from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are doing japa sessions. Bhagavan Krishna talks so much about mad chittah mad gatah prana, focusing your mind on me, and our acharyas have given japa as the means. Even in Bhagavad Gita 10.25, Lord Krishna says, Japa yagyo asmi. Among all the processes of yagya, I am the japa yagya. Japa yagya is the best. So Thursdays, we are doing japa for 1 hour. We do japa where we do 8 rounds. 8 rounds takes almost 1 hour. So please try to do it. You don't have to join and do. You can do in your own home. But if you feel like you want to do together, you want to start practicing all that, then you can do with us. This happens at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Just want to mention that. Finally, Bhakti Shastri, those who had wanted to express their interest in Bhakti Shastri, we had sent them a form. I have not received your response. I must receive it by this week. Otherwise, the doors will close. And then I will see if there are seats left. I will offer to others. Last, very important announcement. Bhadra Purnima is a great opportunity to obtain, and if you already have, then to gift Srimad Bhagavatam. We will see here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is written last chapter, last chapter of last canto. I'm going in the 12th canto. You can see here 12th canto, last chapter, 13th chapter, 13th verse. In interest of time, I will just read the English translation. If on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places the Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, you can gift it to yourself also. You don't have to gift it to someone else. He will attain the supreme transcendental destination. Very, very good. Now you can do this all year round, but especially Bhadra Purnima is a very, very nice occasion to, what happened? To obtain or gift Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhadra Purnima this year is on 10th September 2022. So if you would like to obtain Srimad Bhagavatam from us, from our temple, Portland temple, the cost has gone up a little, $250 due to inflation. All the shipping costs, everything is up. So printed, it comes like it's one whole shelf, comes in 18 volumes, 12 cantos. And you can obtain it. If you place the order now, we will get it before 10th September. I have to order from the publisher. We don't have a lot of stock in the temple, in our Portland temple. Also, what we can do is we can come to your house for free. This part is free. And do a Bhagavatam installation. Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation, is a avatar of Bhagavan in the book form. So Bhagavan, like we do installation, prana pratishtha, or we do a welcoming of Bhagavan, the murti of Bhagavan, Bhagavatam is also murti. So you can do an installation ceremony in your house and we can come and do it. Now, of course, you have to book a date. It has to be in the evening because I am a working person in daytime and all that. So we can do installation around the 10th, or you can get it on the 10th and we can do it. The installation ceremony can be done a little bit later, a little bit earlier, whatever we can do. And this part is free. You can call some of your friends. You can, we will do Aarti, we will do Kirtan, we offer Bhoga to Srimad Bhagavatam, and we can do Krishna Katha. So you can let us know, contact me or my wife, or you have all the contact information. Please try to obtain. Now, of course, Bhagavatam is available free on Veda base. You can read it online. But nice to have a, Bhagavatam in your house. Like you can have Bhagwan in your heart. But still we have Murti outside also. So nice opportunity to obtain Bhagavatam on Bhadra Purnima. And this year it is in 10th September. So we have 2 weeks and we can do installation ceremony. It is optional. This is optional. Completely, this installation ceremony is optional. You don't have to do it. We can just go and give you a box full of the 18 volumes. It comes in a big box. And you can just obtain it and you can put it yourself. No problem. If you want to do some katha, some kirtan, and do a sort of installation, we are more than happy to do it. That part is free. Of course, only in Portland, not anywhere else. We live in Portland. Those are my announcements for today. Any last minute questions?
Prabhuji, WhatsApp is only one way. WhatsApp group, only admins are.
But you know who is the admin. I am the admin and my wife is the admin. You can send private mail to me or private message to me or my wife.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
And if you have already obtained Bhagavatam before, some of you have, and you want to do installation now, that is also possible. Again, free of cost. Just book a date with us. We are available to do Krishna Katha as much as possible.
I had taken it some time back, but I didn't know that the installation ceremony has to be done.
No,
I
it
just,
does not have to be done. Has to be done is little bit. I just want to make sure that you don't feel that you have done something wrong if you didn't do installation. It's a nice thing, but it is not mandatory.
Okay.
But you can contact any local devotees and they will be happy to do.
Okay.
Anything else?
Prabhuji, even from India,
Hmm.
I have the Bhagavad Gita books and Bhagavatam books, but as Mataji said, I didn't do any installation ceremony. I am
You
in
can
Udmalpet, Tamil Nadu. Is there a possibility of installation
Contact some local
ceremony at
ISKCON devotees. Please contact some. This is best done in person, not online. So please
Okay.
contact some local devotees at your local temple and they will be more than happy. They will come running and do it for you.
This is a worldwide thing.
This is a worldwide thing.
All ISKCON temples are doing for Bhadra Purnima. It's not just
Portland.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada has told, that this is a...
From which date to which date it has to be done, Prabhuji?
It can be done around the 10th of September, 1 week this side and that side.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Anything else? Burning questions? Okay, I will close the session. I will run to the airport. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, please join for Srimad Bhagavatam session on Maharaj Chitraketu. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Namaste, Prabhuji.